Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the WOODBOIS Annual General Meeting. Throughout today's meeting, attendees will be in listen-only mode. Questions are encouraged and can be submitted at any time using the Q&A tab situated on the right-hand corner of your screen. Just simply type in your question at any time and press send. I'd now like to hand over to the chair of today's meeting, Stephen DeJersey. Good morning.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 11 a.m. and a quorum of duly appointed nominees is present in person as required, and therefore I open the 2023 Annual General Meeting of WOODBOIS Limited. My name is Stephen DeJersey and I am Chairman of the meeting. Shareholders have been given the opportunity to follow the proceedings online through the Investors Meet Company platform. Following the formal proceedings of the meeting, I will then hand over to retiring Chair Graham Thompson to say a few words, as will incoming Chair Guido Turns, and then David Rothschild, CEO, will provide a short presentation. Then they and Cornel Giddis, CFO, will answer questions submitted either pre-event or during the proceedings via this platform. I propose taking the notice of this AGM dated 21st November 23, convening the meeting and the matters therein as read. The proxy results will be read out after each resolution is proposed and seconded, complying with the QCA UK Corporate Governance Code. The Investor Meet platform cannot enable us to differentiate between shareholders and non-holders, so the proposer and the seconder of each resolution will of necessity be company secretarial officers. I would note that the votes cast by the proxy in favour of each of the resolutions were not less than 98.7% of those voting, and therefore each resolution will be carried. The first resolution is to receive and adopt the Director's Report, the audited statements of accounts and Auditor's Report for the year ended 31st December 2022. I now formally propose this resolution. I would ask Reynolds Verbelius to second the resolution.
I second the resolution.
Thank you. I declare the resolution duly carried as an ordinary resolution. I will now give you the proxy count on this resolution. In favour was 99.1%, against was 0.9%. The second resolution is to re-elect Graham Thompson as a director of the company. I now formally propose this resolution. I would ask Reynard to second the resolution.
I second the resolution.
Thank you, Reynard. I declare the resolution duly carried as an ordinary resolution. I will now give you the proxy count. In favour was 99.3%, against 0.7%. The third resolution is to reappoint PKF Littlejohn LLP as auditors of the company. I now formally propose the resolution as an ordinary resolution and would ask Reynard to second the resolution.
I second the resolution.
Thank you. I declare the resolution duly carried as an ordinary resolution. I will now give you the proxy count. In favour was 99.2%, against 0.8%. The fourth resolution is to authorise the directors to determine the auditor's remuneration. I now formally propose the resolution as an ordinary resolution. I would ask Reynard to second the resolution.
I second the resolution.
Thank you, Reynard. I declare the resolution duly carried as an ordinary resolution. The proxy count for this resolution in favour was 99.2%, against 0.8%. The fifth resolution is the allotment of shares by the directors for cash or otherwise to the extent set out in the notice of the meeting. I now formally propose the resolution as an ordinary resolution. I would ask Reynard to second the resolution.
I second the resolution.
Thank you. I declare the resolution duly carried as an ordinary resolution. I give you the proxy count. In favour was 99.1%, against was 0.9%. The sixth resolution is a special resolution and is to approve the disapplication of preemption rights. That is to say, to allow shares to be allotted for cash otherwise than to existing shareholders in proportion to their existing holdings, and to issue conditional warrants as set out in the notice of the meeting. I now formally propose the resolution as an ordinary resolution and would ask Reynolds to second the resolution.
I second the resolution.
Thank you. And I just need to correct myself. That was a special resolution, not ordinary resolution. So I declare the special resolution duly carried. And I'll give you the proxy count for this special resolution. In favour, 98.7%, against 1.3%. That concludes the formal business of the AGM of WOODBOIS Limited, and I hand you over to retiring chair, Graham Thompson.
Thank you, Stephen and Reynolds, for handling the formal business. Much appreciated, and it's good to see the resolution so unanimously carried. We will issue an RNS shortly with those results. You'll see on your screen there's three groups of people. There's Guido Duns, who's going to be the executive chair of the group. Carnel Geddes, who is the CFO and has been for many years, has done wonderful work for the group through that period. And there's myself with the white shirt, and David Rothschild, who became CEO about 3 months ago, who was a non-executive director before that, but has he's a veteran of West Africa and very skilled management consultant, formerly with McKinsey's, who's been doing valiant and excellent work on behalf of the company since his appointment. I would like to thank all of the staff and fellow directors, including those who've left the company, for their unstinting determination and hard work in 2023 in what has been obviously a very challenging year for the group. But now we need to look forward. And earlier today, we announced that I'm stepping down as non-executive chair. For the company to meet its emerging growth objectives, we felt that the position needed to be a full-time one. And I'm therefore extremely pleased that Guido was unanimously recommended as my replacement and has accepted the position of executive chair. Guido has all the attributes that we need to really enable the group to fulfill its huge potential. And whilst I'm reducing my time commitment, I'm very excited and to give him and the team my full support as a non-executive director. I have absolute belief that the very good times are ahead for WOODBOIS. In fact, I've never been so optimistic in my time with the company. Having said that, I'll pass over to Guido for a few words, and then David will take you through a presentation on the company, after which we'll take some questions. Thank you. Guido.
Yes, thank you, Graham. First of all, welcome everybody. It's with great pleasure that I address today at the annual general meeting of WOODBOIS 2023. Since my recent appointment, actually, I dedicated substantial time immersing myself in the intricate history of our esteemed company and examined the challenges that we have navigated, particularly during COVID pandemic. But I stand before you today with a profound sense of optimism, for WOODBOIS currently finds itself in a more favorable position than ever before. Foremost, my priorities is the commitment to enhance shareholder value. Investors rightfully seek a commendable return on their investments, accompanied by regular updates that offer transparent insight into the utilization of funds. We are steadfastly dedicating to improve shareholder communication, ensuring you are provided with consistent and informative updates. Back to shareholder value. WOODBOIS is undertaking 4 simultaneous strategic initiatives. The first one is cost streamlining. We will rigorously evaluate and optimize costs where possible and necessary, including a comprehensive review of our international legal structure. Second part, production optimization. Maximizing wood production is paramount. We are implementing new team leaders, enhancing production teams, and increasing shifts. This strategic move will not only enhance efficiency, but also instill pride being a part of WOODBOIS. Leveraging technologies such as Starlink connections will ensure faster and more transparent reporting. The third point is trading team expansion. We are focused on expanding our trading team, coupled with securing a 3.5 million with a potential up to 7.5 million trade finance facility. This step empowers our team to trade beyond WOODBOIS production volume and significantly contributing to the company's profitability. Number 4, not less important, carbon credits business plan. Following our engagement with stakeholders at COP28 in Dubai, I can assure you that WOODBOIS is diligently working on a comprehensive business plan for carbon credits. This initiative holds the potential to become a lucrative addition to our diversified business portfolio. In summary, I think WOODBOIS finds itself at a pivotal juncture with confidence in our capable management team and dedicated employees. I'm very optimistic that we can effect a positive change. Our overarching goal is reposition WOODBOIS as an attractive investment, a company known for its excellence, reliability, and profitability. I believe that 2024 will mark a turning point for WOODBOIS and its esteemed investors. Thank you all, and you will hear soon again from us.
Guido, thank you very much for that introduction, and thank you, Graham, for your words. I will run through a brief presentation now, and then we will take questions. You have met today our experienced leadership team, with Guido taking over as Executive Chair, Cornel, a very experienced CFO who's been with the company for many years and who has played a vital role through these years, Graham, who's been the Chairman for the last few years, and an incredible colleague and ally, and very responsible on the governance side, and has been a fantastic chairman. We wish you well, and we obviously hope you stay on as non-executive director for a long time. I also want to thank the recently retired directors, Paul Dolan, the ex-CEO, and Hadi Hussein, who was heading up the Gabon operation, for their contributions to WOODBOIS over the past 7 years. To give you a brief update on our estimates of performance for the half year that's ending now at the end of this year and the full year 23, our turnover for the half year is in US dollars 3.3 million, and we estimate that the full year will be 8.1 million. Clearly, it's been a difficult year. Our sawmill production, which has actually increased quite substantially recently, has been 3.2 thousand cubic meters, and almost 7,000 for the year. Our veneer factory was shut during the financial problems that we had, but produced just about 2,000 cubic meters for the year. We plan to produce and to submit a Q4 update at the end or by the end of January 2024. Our plans for 2024 really reflect a significant shift from the past, and we are very optimistic, as the prior two speakers have mentioned. Firstly, we have, as was announced in the middle of the year, some major new shareholders who see WOODBOIS as a solid investment. We have revised the board with our new incoming executive chair, and who brings additional strength on Africa, financial restructuring, and commercial negotiations. And we have a new management team with strong Africa experience, both at the international level, but also importantly with deep forestry and wood processing expertise within Gabon. Our strategic priorities for 2024 are really to maximize the value from each of the operational components, which means essentially producing and packaging the highest value products, operating our equipment at optimum scale levels, and debottlenecking any processes, so that we can get to increase capacity where it's economic to do so, and as Guido had mentioned, to reduce operating cost per meter cube, both in the forest through improved planning and execution, but also in the factories through better process management and through better procurement practices. On the trade side, to trade to the highest value buyers and markets globally, there are many arbitrage opportunities out there between countries and between customers and suppliers, and our team is actively pursuing those. To be more specific, our sawmill production and yield will be grown during the year with new leadership on the ground in Gabon already. And 2023, we produced on average 30 cubic meters a day, and we look to treble that on a per day run rate by the end of Q2 this coming year. We will restart the veneer factory, which produced about 20 cubic meters per day in the first half of this year. And we look again to treble that or more by the end of the second quarter this year. We constantly monitor and will continue to monitor the market for M&A opportunities in Gabon, in Mozambique, and beyond in Africa. Excuse me. Very importantly, we are prioritizing and looking to expand our global trading activities. The team has been very active developing new supplier and buyer market opportunities in new countries and existing, and this scaling will be supported by a new $3.5 million line of credit, which has been agreed and which is subject to final documentation expected in January. This will give huge leverage to the team. Our carbon credit afforestation project is, of course, a very important priority for 2024. We plan to finalize the lease agreement with the government of Gabon and to raise funding internationally and commence with planting. And more on all of these a little bit later. And as Guido mentioned, we look to improve and increase the frequency of shareholder communication through the year. To give a snapshot of the company for those who are not that familiar with it, we're listed on AIM. We manage natural forest assets in Africa. We responsibly produce and trade hardwood products globally, and we are working to restore tree cover with our afforestation project. We have almost 500,000 hectares of forest concessions in Gabon and Mozambique, and we have recently received government land commission approval to develop almost 70,000 of carbon credit afforestation project in Gabon. Company's made significant investments in the last 7 years with high quality equipment. Our capacities, as one can see on the right-hand side, for the sawmill and kilns, we can produce about 2,000 kiln-dried product per month, but our total capacity in the sawmill is about 3,000 cubic meters of sawn timber. Our veneer factory can produce about 1,500, 1,600 per month at full capacity. That's in Gabon. In the UK, we have our trading team, and that is going to be expanded during the year with a very strong global network, and our carbon solutions team is UK-based. In Denmark, we have a couple of exceptional trading administrative support team, and that will continue. And in Mozambique, we have the capacity to do 300 cubic meters a month, but currently, as noted in our 22 financials, we've taken the decision to minimize our harvesting activities in Mozambique, and we're reviewing our strategic options in that jurisdiction. A brief snapshot of our history. WOODBOIS acquired WOODBOIS Gabon in 2017 with modernization, installation of new equipment, introduction of the veneer factory, a submission in 2021 of our afforestation project. It took 2 years for that to be approved. We added a second veneer line in 2022, and this year we've gone through the debt restructuring and fundraising. We have new management, and we're proud to say that the afforestation land project has been approved. And next year we're hoping to add significant number of plus points. Importantly, Gabon has had an interesting year. As you all know, there was a coup d'etat in September after the elections in August. We would call it a benign coup, a peaceful coup. There were no casualties, and General Brice Nguema, who is a cousin of the prior president, is serving as the transitional president of the country, and he remains the commander-in-chief of the Gabonese Republican Guard. He's constituted a government that basically is a combined group of military and politically experienced people, and the government has announced that free elections will be held in August 2025. We're encouraged that entities like the African Development Bank have lifted sanctions on the country, and we expect more of that in the near term. And quite honestly, other than initial disruption and some slowdown as a result of curfews and us adopting a cautionary approach during the period of September, there's been very little material impact to our business or to the businesses of wood companies in Gabon. We expect really no material change and possibly even some optimistic positive improvements as the government starts paying back debts that it owes to private operators. So we're operating encouragingly under a business as usual position, but we obviously constantly monitor events and developments in the country. We don't believe that this will have a material impact on the business. Our forest operations in Gabon have been going on for 20 years in prior carnations and then through WOODBOIS. We have over 156,000 hectares of forest under management. We're considered a citizen company, which is a good accolade to have in Gabon. We're a well-recognized industry player there. Okume, the picture which you see, is our principal product, and it's the dominant species in the region. And it's really used in construction industry for plywood, for wood frames, for doors and windows, etc. But also it's used in the shipbuilding industry for internal paneling. What we're undertaking, it's almost completed, a process supported by an internationally regarded forestry expert to merge our two concessions. You may recall we acquired a second concession a couple of years ago, and this we're putting it into one management plan, which will allow for simplification and better optimization of our land management, and we expect this will be approved within the first half of the year by the government. And as mentioned, we have land in Mozambique, which is currently under strategic review. Excuse me. To give a quick overview of our sawn timber, our sawmill, we have a site in Mouila in southwest of Gabon, which is close to our forestry concessions. We've invested a significant amount of money over the past 6-7 years with high-quality European sawmill equipment suitable for the environment. And under the new leadership of really an industry specialist, the sawmill is undergoing quite substantial improvement, both in process flow and in optimization in order to increase the yields and to increase the throughput productivity, and finally, importantly, to reduce the cost per cube produced. We believe this will have significant benefits through 2024. We have already seen an uptick in throughput in the month that this person has been on board. So very encouraging direction. At the same time, equipment is being upgraded or replaced as necessary. Spare parts and consumable planning and inventories are being right-sized, which over the coming few months will allow us to return to operations at full scale. Our veneer factory is also in Mouila. We've invested again in a substantial amount of equipment, European-based equipment, and we expect to restart the operation in the first quarter of the new year. Already preparatory maintenance is underway by our management team there, and we expect full production or near full production by the middle of the year. The veneer that we produce is typically either for marine or for interior plywood, and typically it goes to Mediterranean countries, North Africa, and Southern Europe, and the Middle East. Very importantly, the company is actively engaged with our partner communities, the communities close by to our operations. This is part of our concession commitments, but we think it's also very useful and very good as to be a good citizen company. We provide them with supplies, we upgrade infrastructure. We've recently provided a solar lighting and energy to light up essentially the entire there are 5 Yeno communities close to where we operate. And then the pictures you can see below is the renovation of a dispensary and a nursing home in Saint-Martin village, which is also close to our operations. And we've further been undertaking repairs to local community roads as part of our commitment to working with the communities. Of course, many of these communities get additional value through work opportunities or entrepreneurial linked opportunities. So that covers the production side of the business in Gabon. Our trading division has a team of traders in London with support teams in Copenhagen and Libreville in Gabon. Our 2023 trading was profoundly and substantially curtailed due to the financial difficulties, but the team in the meantime has been developing strong relationships in both suppliers and buyers in new markets, in existing markets, and with a view to developing long-term stable relationships from the beginning of 2024. We're very encouraged by this, and the 3.5 million line of credit that will be in place in January will really amp this business significantly. Our aspirations for the year are really to trade actively in certified plywood, sawn timber, and veneer from various sources in Africa, but also to sell hardwoods out of North America into our client base around the world. And we have clients in the Middle East, in North Africa, in Europe, in the Caribbean, the US, and in Asia as well. So really, we're covering a global base. We're looking to deepen our relationships in some of the key MENA markets, Middle East, North Africa markets, and in Asia. We want to leverage and further expand the capabilities of a proprietary trading technology that we have at our disposal, that we are owner of, and that actually really helps facilitate the process of rapid trading. As trading volumes increase, we are looking to and have plans to extend the team's capabilities, both in terms of human capital and building the team skills, but also we believe that the lines of credit can be expanded if we're successful, as we find success. Our afforestation project is very exciting. We have really, I think, huge opportunity. This will be the biggest project in Gabon and one of the biggest ever in Africa. So we've been awarded the right in the first half of this year to develop a carbon credit afforestation project by the Combined Land Use Commission of the Gabonese government. It's a multi-decade project, and we will plant indigenous forest of mixed species, which will be dominated by our kume, which is the dominant species in the region. And we'll be doing this in savanna areas that have been identified as absolutely suitable for doing this kind of work. We believe that this can sequester in the order of 30 million tons of carbon dioxide equivalent over the life of the project. And the area that is available to us is 69,000 hectares. As part of the agreement, under the Gabonese law, the government's entitled to 20% of the carbon credit value. So it's really in partnership with the government, which is fantastic. We're in active discussions with the new government and anticipate that our lease concession agreement will be completed within the first half of the year. We're currently also engaging potential investors to support this project. And so really believe that we will be active by the second half of this year, initially conducting an ESIA, which is an environmental and social impact assessment study, and a high conservation value study, and then project implementation thereafter. This will be a very important project, and we're really excited about getting this moving during 2024. This concludes then the main presentation, and we'd be happy to take any questions from the group.
That's great, David, and to the rest of the team, thank you very much indeed for updating investors. Ladies and gentlemen, please do continue to submit your questions using the Q&A tab situated on the right-hand corner of the screen. But just while the team take a few moments to review your questions submitted already, I'd like to remind you that a recording of this presentation, along with a copy of the slides and the published Q&A, can be accessed via your Investor Meet company dashboard. David, Guido, Carnell, and if I could just ask you, please, just to open up the Q&A tab. You'll see you've received a number of questions from investors through today's presentation. So firstly, thank you for your engagement this morning. Maybe, Graham, if I hand back to you, if I could just ask you to maybe moderate that Q&A, and then I'll pick up from you or David at the end. Thank you.
Sure. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Financial questions we will be addressing in our update that we planned towards the end of January 2024. And obviously, we can't give forecast numbers. That's for other people to do. So we won't be answering any questions of that nature. But the first one is really about an update on the carbon offset project and timescales, which I think in large part David has covered. But anything you want to add to that, David?
Yeah, I would just say that planting will take place over a number of years, given the large scale of this project, and the early planting will take 2 to 3 years to start generating credits. Obviously, these will be high-grade credits by internationally recognized accreditation entities, and will be monitored and validated on an annual basis. So we would expect revenues to start flowing from those in, I would say, 3 to 4 years' time from first planting and growing thereafter. Obviously, the trees will tell us how much carbon is produced. And so I hope that addresses this question.
Maybe I can add a few words to that, David. Recently, I visited COP28, and for us, it's important that we develop strategic alliances with people who are already active in this market. There's a lot of initiative at the moment, and there's no need for us to reinvent the wheel, but find strong partners financially, but also with knowledge of this sector. And I'm confident, and we will update on a regular basis, as I mentioned earlier during my short presentation, how we will proceed and how we will take this part of our business as a profitable entity.
Thank you. The next question is about FSC certification and about target for certification, and does it limit our ability of people who are purchasing our products?
So we are on a journey of certification. There are multiple phases to this. FSC would be an end goal, and there's certainly, it does not limit who's purchasing the product, other than it basically is a higher value product typically. And we anticipate that certification is actually of benefit to the company, of benefit to the planet, and it's a process that we're on and looking to achieve multiple phases of certification over the coming 2-3 years.
Hopefully that answers that question. The next one is about regular updates for shareholders. I think in the release we've put out today, and what Guido said earlier, there's a strong emphasis on making sure that people are kept up to date. Clearly, we are unusual in the sense that we produce quarterly updates as a minimum, which very few companies do. They normally do the annuals and the mid-years. So we are conscious about that, and we will be using social media. So if you follow us on what's it called, X now, and elsewhere, make sure you're on the circulation list. That if you go to our website, you can log on and become updated with all of the RNSs. Obviously, we have to pay attention to the requirements of AIM. For example, in the April to June time, we were extremely restricted because we were working very hard on trying to find a solution after the problems we had with a Danish bank. But I think certainly the message is there that we will be updating on a regular basis and as much as we can. And I would also suggest that there'll be some videos and those sorts of things which will be placed on our website and available too. So I think I don't think people will be unhappy about the amount of time that's spent on updating people. Next question is about how confident are you on the outlook for the business? Well, we have said that I think Guido said earlier that the sort of ingredients are in place, and we said in the statement this morning that we're very confident about 2024. I don't know if
I would just support what Graham and Guido have both said, that 2024 should be a great year for the company. We're all very confident that things will be on the uptick this year in an important way.
The next question is, when do you think you'll be in a position to pay dividends? Well, I think we have to review this as we go along, really. It's important for the financial resources of the group to be used in the best way possible. And I think for the sort of newly constituted board to see together with some of the major shareholders what their appetite is. But at the moment, I think our focus should be on realizing the value that's inherent in the company.
Graham, thank you very much indeed. I think that is all the questions that we have seen from investors during today's meeting. So thank you once again for everybody's engagement. And if any further questions do make themselves available, Graham, David, Guido, we can make those available to you after today's meeting. I know investor feedback will be important to you guys, and I'll shortly redirect the attendees on today's call to give you their thoughts and their expectations through feedback. But I wonder, before doing so, Graham, if I may just hand back to you just for a couple of closing comments, and then, as I say, I'll send investors to give you their feedback.
Thanks, Mark. I hope there's a lot of information that we've conveyed today, and I hope that the presentation and the release that we made this morning are very useful for shareholders in updating. There's a lot of work that's going on and has gone on within the company. I think the past is behind us. For me personally, I've never been more optimistic about the outlook for the group in terms of being able to realize the inherent value in the group. And I think that 2024 should be a stellar year for us all. Lots of hard work, and nobody's shy of doing that. But I think we've got the nucleus of a very good team to ensure that the underlying value is realized. And I'm looking forward to us all playing a part in that under Guido's leadership, and the future is bright.
That's great.
Just 2 words to add on to that, Graham, is that actually 2 things that are very important for us, but I think also for the shareholders, and we stressed the point a couple of times. It's communication. We will do more often communication, so you know exactly what we're doing and where we're heading to. I think that has been lacking for some time. And second, the shareholder value. We will bring the stock back to where it belongs, and we have all the possibilities to do that at the moment with this team and the people. So yeah, you will hear back from us very soon.
That's great. Guido, Carmel, David, Graham, thank you once again for updating attendees. Could I please ask attendees not to close this session, as we'll now automatically redirect you for the opportunity to provide your feedback in order that the company can better understand your views and expectations. This may take a few moments to complete, but I'm sure will be greatly valued by the board. On behalf of the management team and the board of Woodbar PLC, we'd like to thank you for attending today's annual general meeting, and Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Here.
Happy New Year.